Hello, my name is Kevin Jackson, and this is the class on framework references and model styles. If you've been going through this module, this is the last class of this module. In Cloud Computing Basics, we have covered traditional computing challenges, the benefits and challenges of cloud computing, what is cloud computing, the use cases and examples. And in this short module, we're going to look at some of the frameworks you can use in your development of a cloud computing transition strategy. We will compare some common cloud computing frameworks. We won't go into detail, but this is just to give you a flavor and references to what's being used today. So, cloud computing framework has different model styles. The first, role-based, is where activities or capabilities are mapped to roles such as cloud provider or consumer. Some good examples of these role-based reference models include the DMTF Cloud Service Reference Architecture, the IBM Cloud Computing Reference Architecture, and the Cloud Computing Reference Architecture designed and developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technologies. A second style for developing and publishing cloud computing frameworks is called a layer-based style. In the layer-based style, activities or capabilities are mapped to layers in an architecture, such as an application layer or resource layer. You can also map these activities to the service management architecture or security architecture. Some examples of a layer-based cloud computing framework reference model include the Cloud Security Alliance reference model, the Cisco Cloud Reference Architecture Framework, and the Cloud Reference Framework that's provided by the Internet Engineering Task Force. All reference model components have roles that are typically found in an organization section of a reference model, specific activities, which are part of the process model, and the layered architecture, which is shown in the reference architecture for the model. Here is a generic reference model. Here you can see where the actual functions and capabilities should be placed in an enterprise. It includes the processes, the organization, the architecture, and the cloud computing reference model itself. This second example is a government cloud computing framework. As addressed before, this layers the different capabilities onto the different architecture components. As you can see, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, as well as the service management provisioning, security, and the data center facilities. There are other IT frameworks that may be confused with cloud computing frameworks. One, for instance, is ITIL, the Information Technology Infrastructure Library. This gives a set of practices for IT service management that focus on aligning IT services with the needs of business. This was designed as a general guide and reference framework for delivering IT services. It complements, not replaces, a cloud computing reference framework. Another framework is TOGAF, the Open Group Architecture Framework. This is a framework for enterprises, their architectures that provide an approach for designing, planning, implementing, and governing an enterprise IT architecture. Once again, TOGAF framework complements the use of cloud computing. It does not replace it. Cloud computing is a component of an enterprise architecture, and as such should be part of the mix in an enterprise architecture design. The TOGAF framework helps you in designing that mix. A final architectural framework we want to talk about is COBIT, Control Objectives for Information and Related Technologies. This was created for IT management and IT governance. It defines a set of generic processes for the management of IT. It complements cloud computing reference frameworks. Cloud computing can be used to meet some information technology control objectives that are highlighted by COBIT. Thank you very much. This concludes the Cloud Computing Basics module. We hope to see you again in other cloud computing modules.